sight becomes story.
See better, shoot better, create better.
You got the camera, now get the vision.
The wave behaviors in photography, light interaction with matter, with lenses, and we'll look at photographic applications. Now let's see the visual of a beautiful landscape with reflections in water, then a close-up of a camera lens focusing. Welcome back, visual artists and science enthusiasts. In our previous section, we journeyed from Heinrich Hertz's discovery of electromagnetic waves to the fascinating particle nature of light, which is the photon. Now, when you say light, it's made up of particles called photon. And its role, the role of this photon in the photoelectric effect. We understand now that light is both a wave and a particle, constantly traveling at the speed of the universe. Today, we are going to explore how this incredible phenomenon interacts with the world around us. Light doesn't just travel, it is altered by matter, and understanding this interaction, which are reflection, refraction, and dispersion, is absolutely crucial for mastering photography and cinematography. Now, light doesn't just travel, it interacts with matter it touches, any matter it touches. Let's see how absorption, reflection, transmission, and scattering shape every photo. Light waves reflect, refract, and disperse. Reflection is what you see in a mirror, or when light bounces off a reflector in a studio, photographic studio, for example. Refraction is when light bends like a straw, looking broken in a glass of water. And it's exactly how our camera lens bends light to form an image on the sensor. Now, dispersion happens when white light splits into colors like a prism. In photography, we see dispersion as chromatic aberration, those purple or green fringes in high contrast areas when using cheaper lenses. Your lens is more than just glass. It's a precision tool that bends, shapes, and controls light. So today, you have a reason to go for premium lenses because they counter chromatic aberration. So next time you see a lens, always remember there are a lot of things inside your lens that controls light.
Create a vision.
Where sight becomes story.
See better, shoot better, create better.
You got the camera, now
Reflection.
get the vision.
Let's say a visual animation showing light rays bouncing off a smooth surface, specular, and a rough surface, diffusion, then examples of photographic reflections. Let's start with reflection, a concept we encounter every single day.
Reflection of light is the bouncing back of light after hitting a surface. Let's visualize it using this ball here. So if you imagine light to be this ball, can you see that it's bouncing back from the mirror? That's reflection. A mirror is made by taking a thin layer of glass and putting a layer of silver on one side. The silver reflects the light. An ideal mirror would reflect all light, but real mirrors absorb some energy, reflecting the rest back to your eyes. Light follows certain laws of reflection, but before we discuss them, let's recap the basic terms first. The ray falling on the mirror is the incident ray. The point where it hits is the point of incidence, and the ray that comes back is the reflected ray. We also draw an imaginary line perpendicular to the mirror at the point of incidence. This is the normal used to measure our angles. The second law of reflection states that the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. If one changes, the other follows perfectly. This simple geometric balance governs every reflection we see. Next, we'll tackle for the first law. It states that the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal at the point of incidence all lie on the same plane. But what does that actually mean? A plane is just a flat surface, like a sheet of paper or a table. But which plane are we talking about here? This is where people often get confused. Is it the mirror itself? No. In fact, the first law doesn't even talk about the mirror's surface as the plane. It's this flat surface that is perpendicular to the mirror. As you can see, the rays and the normal all lie perfectly on this vertical plane. When you see them aligned like this, the law makes perfect sense. Next, we'll look at reflectors beyond the mirror. Reflection isn't just about mirrors. Other objects reflect light too. The table, chairs, walls, even you and me are reflectors of light. These objects don't have light of their own. They reflect light coming from luminous sources like the sun or a light bulb. But not all objects reflect light in the same way. There are two main types: regular reflection and irregular or diffused reflection. In regular reflection, like from a mirror, a parallel beam remains parallel. Every ray follows the laws of reflection at the same angle. But on surfaces like paper, the light scatters. The surface may seem smooth, but at the microscopic level, it's rough, causing the rays to bounce in different directions. Whether regular or diffused, the laws of reflection always hold. It's the surface that determines the view. Next, we'll dive deeper.
Create a vision where sight becomes story.
See better, shoot better, create better.
You got the camera. Now get the vision.
Simply put, reflection occurs when light waves bounce off a surface, but not all reflections are created equal. We primarily deal with two types. Reflection in photography use diffuse reflection to bounce light gently onto subjects. Specular reflection is the first one. This happens when light bounces off a smooth surface, very smooth, polished surface, like a mirror or a calm water. The light rays maintain their parallel paths, resulting in clear, distinct reflection. Think of a perfect reflection of a mountain in a still lake. Now, the second one is the diffuse reflection. This occurs when light hits a rough or uneven surface, just like me, like a mat with a textured fabric. The light rays scatter in many different directions, which is why we see the surface itself rather than a clear image of what is reflecting off, just like mirror. Now, this is how objects around us become visible, because they are not smooth like mirrors. You get? Now, let's see a photographic example. A clear reflection in a window, a diffuse reflection on a white wall, a photographer using a reflector. Now, in photography, understanding reflection is paramount. It dictates how light sources illuminate our subjects, how highlights appear on skin or metallic objects, and how we use surfaces like water or glass for creative effects. We use reflectors to bounce light back onto our subject, filling in shadows. We use diffusers to scatter harsh light, creating softer, more even illuminations. It's just the same, just smooth. And we learn to control glare, unwanted specular reflection, often with what? Lens hood. I'll show you an example of a lens hood. So this is an example of a lens hood. It's like this. Some people don't use it. You don't know why it is. It's to scatter reflections, Now, if you don't use a hood, what you have to do, you have to be changing your shooting angle. Yes, to avoid that. Reflection is not just about seeing yourself in a mirror. It's about shaping and controlling the light in your frame. This is creative vision.
Create a vision. where sight becomes story.
See better, shoot better, create better.
You got the camera, now get the vision. Shoot with purpose, create with vision.
Creative vision, creative vision.
You've all heard that light travels in a straight line. It's called rectilinear propagation. But are you ready for a magic trick where we actually bend light? Get a transparent glass filled with water. Pause and grab one. Ready? Now, look at the arrow on the screen through your glass. Look closely. What do you see this time? Did you see it? The arrow changed direction. This is refraction, the change in direction of light when it travels from one medium to another. It requires a transparent material to work. You see it when a pencil looks bent in water, or a swimming pool floor appears shallower than it really is. Refraction is everywhere. But why does it happen? In the next part, we'll reveal the secret role of speed. Why does refraction happen? The secret is speed. Glass slows light down, causing the bend. In air, light is incredibly fast. In glass, it slows down. Greater change in speed means greater bending. When light moves from rarer to denser media, it bends towards the normal. Here, the angle of incidence is always greater. Flip it from denser to rarer media, and light bends away from the normal as its speed increases once again. And at normal incidence, there is no bending at all, even though the speed still changes. Both angles are exactly zero. Speed and density, the hidden mechanics of refraction. We've unlocked the secret of bending light.
Refraction, the bending of light as it passes from one medium to another. Imagine a straw in a glass of water. It appears bent. That's refraction at play. This bending happens because light changes its speed when it moves from one medium like air to another medium like water or glass. Now, when light enters a denser medium, it slows down. And if it hits the surface at an angle, it changes direction. Now, let's look at a close-up of a camera lens showing light rays entering and converging to a focal point. Examples of underwater photography or distorted views. Refraction is the fundamental principle behind every single lens you use in photography and cinematography. Your camera lens is composed of multiple glass elements. It is meticulously designed to refract light in a precise way, bending incoming rays to converge at a focal point on your camera sensor. Without refraction, there would be no way to focus a scene, to focus an image, no way to magnify or reduce a scene, and no way to create the beautiful bokeh that we seek. Now, it's also why objects underwater appear closer or distorted, or why shooting through a window can create interesting visual effects. Understanding refraction helps us to appreciate the engineering marvel that is a modern camera lens and how it manipulates light to form images. Convex lenses bend parallel light rays to a single point. This is how your camera lens projects a sharp image onto the sensor. A simple magnifying glass can demonstrate this by focusing light onto paper. This is an example of a magnifying glass. When sun hits on it, it can focus the sun rays onto a paper.
Creative vision, where sight becomes story.
See better, shoot better, create better.
You got the camera, now get the vision. Shoot with purpose, create with vision.
Creative vision, creative vision.
This is creative vision, where sight becomes story.
Are you ready to learn about the colors of light? It all starts with this magic bulb. I can change its color with an app: red, blue, green, yellow. Now watch how it changes these three blocks. Under red light, only the red block reflects and stays visible. The green and blue blocks absorb the light and appear black. It's the same for green and blue light. An object only reflects light that matches its own color. It absorbs everything else. Conclusion: objects give back their own color and keep the rest. Next, we'll see what that tells us about white light itself. White light looks simple, but it's actually a mix of millions of colors. We often simplify it to 7, but the reality is much more vibrant. Think of it like sound. When you play a keyboard, the notes sound different because they have different frequencies. Light works exactly the same way. Different colors of light are simply waves having different frequencies. All these frequencies together make up what we see as white light. A prism can separate them. This splitting is called dispersion, and the resulting band of colors is the spectrum. You see it in rainbows, or even the back of a CD. That shimmering rainbow is a spectrum created by dispersion. Now we know what the spectrum is, but how does a simple piece of glass do it? In the next part, we'll reveal the mechanics of the prism. How does a prism split light? It's all about refraction. Let's start with light of a single color. As red light hits the prism, it bends at the interface. It bends again as it exits, moving towards the base of the glass. White light is different. In glass, red is fastest and violet slowest. This difference in speed causes each color to bend at a unique angle. In the air, there's no split because the speed is constant for every color. That's why rainbows need water or glass. Add a second inverted prism and the process reverses. The colors recombine, turning back into pure white light. The prism reveals light's hidden structure. Next, we'll see how nature creates its own prisms in the sky. Let's talk about nature's beautiful spectrum, the rainbow. It's rare because you need sunshine and rain at once. You'll always find them near waterfalls like Niagara. To see one, keep the sun behind you and look toward the rain. Those raindrops act like tiny prisms, splitting white sunlight into color. But it's not just dispersion. There's a secret process happening inside every single drop. Let's take a closer look. As light enters the raindrop, it splits into colors because their speeds vary in water. But instead of leaving, the light hits the back of the drop and reflects. This is total internal reflection. The light reflects back, then finally exits the drop through refraction, creating the 7 beautiful colors we see in the sky. Nature's perfect geometry revealed through the magic of light. We've unlocked the colors of our world.
Creative vision, where sight becomes story.
See better, shoot better, create better.
You got the camera, now get the vision. Shoot with purpose, create with vision.
Creative vision, creative vision.
This is creative.
Finally, let's talk about dispersion. This phenomenon occurs because different wavelengths of light, which we perceive as different colors, refract at different angles when passing through a medium. Different angles. You get? Because of their wavelength, they don't all go through the same angle. When white light, which is a combination of all colors, like blue and violet and all of that, when it enters a prism, the shorter wavelengths like the blue light, the violet light, they bend more than the longer wavelengths like what? The red light. Now, this separates the white light that was incident into its constituent colors, creating a beautiful spectrum. Think of rainbow. It's a natural display of dispersion as sunlight passes through water droplets in the atmosphere. In photography, dispersion has both challenges and creative applications. Lens aberration. No lens is perfect. Chromatic aberration is one common challenge. Often seen as colored fringes around high contrast edges in an image, like I mentioned earlier. This happens when a lens fails to focus all the colors of light to exact same point. Due to what? Dispersion, because the different colors refract differently. You get, because they have different wavelengths. Now, thus creating color fringes at the edges, especially at the edges of objects. Spherical aberration softens edges, and distortion bends straight lines into curves. Imagine you are trying to take a clear photo with your phone. If the lens is perfect, all the light rays coming from a single point on your subject, say the corner of a book or his head, should meet at a single point on your camera sensor, giving you what? A sharp image. Spherical aberration happens when the lens is shaped like part of a sphere, just like I showed you one here. Most lenses are shaped like a sphere, just like this lens. In that, with this shape, light rays that come through the edges of the lens, they don't bend the same way as the one that is passing through the center. Of course, it looks like common sense. Instead of all of them meeting at one sharp focus point, they meet at slightly different spots. What's the result? The picture looks a little blurry or fuzzy, especially around the edges, even though you tried to focus. Let's see an analogy. Imagine you and your friends are all supposed to throw a tennis ball, you are into the same bucket. Those of them standing right in front, the center, which is like the center rays, those of them standing right in front, they get their balls straight into what? The bucket. But those standing off to the sides, which are like the edge rays, they miss and they land around the bucket, one side or the other. Now, instead of all the balls landing neatly together, you end up with a spread out mess. That spread out mess of light ray is what we call spherical aberration in optics. High-end lenses use multiple elements and coatings to minimize these effects. Now, high-quality lenses are designed to minimize this effect. On the creative side, photographers and cinematographers can intentionally use prisms or other dispersive elements to create stunning ethereal effects. Now, breaking light into vibrant colors within their frames. It also underpins our understanding of color theory and how different light sources affect the color rendition of our images. Now, let's recap with a graphic showing reflection, refraction, dispersion icons, and all of that. So there you have it. Reflection, refraction, and dispersion are not just abstract terms. You know, I'm not doing this series to scare you. It's not abstract. They are the fundamental ways that light interacts with the physical world. And they are the tools and challenges that define our craft as photographers, videographers, and cinematographers. By understanding these properties, we gain immense control over how we capture light, how we shape our images, and how we tell our visual stories. From controlling highlights to choosing the right tones, the right lens, even understanding why our colors look certain way. The physics of light is always at play. I just want you to keep experimenting, keep observing, and keep creating. It's creative vision.
Creative vision, where sight becomes story.
See better, shoot better, create better.
You got the camera, now get the vision. Shoot with purpose, create with vision.
Episode 8: Absorption, Transmission, Scattering, and Alteration by Filters. Finally, in this section, we will cover the remaining aspects of the interaction of light with matter. Part 1: Absorption. When light hits a surface and gets absorbed, it turns into heat. Dark clothing in sunlight absorbs more, which is why it feels hotter. In photography, black backdrops absorbs light to create separation and contrast. Part 2: Transmission and Scattering. Transparent objects like glass allow light to pass through, while translucent objects like frosted panel, they scatter it. Light cannot pass through translucent objects. Diffusion panels in photography soften harsh light by doing what? Scattering it, creating a flattering illumination. Part 3: Alteration by filters. Now, polarizers reduce glare by blocking specific light orientations. You see some people, they'll tell you that they wear polarized lenses. It means that lens, it filters out ultraviolet light and some other kind of light, and you see only that's light spectrum, that's visible light part of the electromagnetic light spectrum. That's what it means. Now, ND filters absorb. This is an example of an ND filter. It absorbs light evenly. So most of them look dark, but when you turn them, that's why they call them variable ND filters. You can adjust how dark or how light it is, and that will allow certain amount of light to pass through. So ND filters absorbs light evenly, letting you use slow, shorter speed in bright light environments. Part 4: Why do we need expensive lenses? Why does it matter? Premium lenses include are spherical elements, extra low dispersion glass, and anti-reflective coatings. This reduce glare. This reduce flare, maintaining sharpness and color control. Now, that's why pro lenses cost more. They tame the physics of light better. Every lens, therefore, is carefully engineered to a particular compromise. So every lens is a careful compromise. Knowing how light interacts with glass helps what? You to choose the right lens for your vision. Every shot is shaped by how light interacts with matter. Mastering this is mastering photography lighting itself. When you master light, you're mastering photography lighting itself.
Creative vision, where sight becomes story.
See better, shoot better, create better.
You got the camera, now get the vision. Shoot with purpose, create with vision.
Creative vision, creative vision.
This is Creative Vision, where sight becomes story. Until next time, keep creating with vision.
Creative vision.
Witness the transformation.
Creative Vision.
See better, shoot better, create better stories.